Yeah, but what I was saying to you earlier was like when I watched The Whale, I remember it was just me in that movie theater with like a couple
Are you
sitting.
serious?
Yeah, just like a few. Actually, I was at the top and then they were sitting closer to the bottom, but it was just us three. But I love that film because the ending was crazy. It's crazy.
That's insane because I haven't heard a lot of people say that they've watched it. So, because I remember seeing previews for it, and I don't watch a lot of trailers for anything. Like, I don't like watching trailers unless it just happens to be in front of my face. I'm not gonna watch a trailer. But I saw the trailer for it and I was like, dang, this seems like a good movie, and I'm excited for it to come out. And I kept seeing trailers for it, and eventually it came out, and I never watched it. And to this day, I still have never seen it. But
Yeah, I'm a huge Brendan Fraser fan. So when it came out, I was like, I
wow,
gotta go check this out. And you know what I loved even more was he won an Oscar for that. And what he said in his speech was something like he was talking about like, oh, like it feels like I'm in the multiverse or something. Like I can't believe it's my reality. And I loved when he said that because like honestly, he gained so much weight. He was low key blacklisted. Nobody was really putting him in stuff. But then he wins and he
and
kind of just fixes things, so to speak. And it was
that's
just like a really beautiful example of miracles kind of happen sometimes.
That's crazy. I never thought of that because you're right. Like the only thing I really know Brendan Fraser from is The Mummy, and I love those movies growing up. Like we talked about The Ride earlier too, but I don't know. Like that's literally the only thing. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing I know him in. At least like that I can remember prominently. So when it came out, I was like, dude, I haven't seen him in anything in so long. I didn't know he won an Oscar for that, so like props to him. That's actually crazy. I didn't know what you were talking about at first whenever he was talking about like what kind of experience that was for him. But yeah, that's putting it into perspective. And then he won an Oscar for it. Because I didn't hear anyone talk about it. That's another reason I never watched it. I was like,
Oh,
people that I know who love watching movies, I asked them about it and they're like, oh yeah, I never saw it. So I was like, maybe it wasn't that hype. I never expected him to win an Oscar for it. But like just based off of the trailers, I was like, he's probably like gonna win an Oscar for that. Well, I didn't think that, but like it was just phenomenal looking at it from the trailer. Like, yeah. But good for
yeah.
him. I'm actually really happy to hear that.
No, absolutely. It's funny that we bring that up because just the other day I was showing my mom a picture of him, like his weight loss. I'm like, look, mom, like, look at the change he made. And she's like, wow, yeah,
I don't
pretty big
really
change.
follow a lot of that kind of stuff. Like I'm like, I don't know, celebrity news. I know the most random stuff and never be like anything like relevant or like anything I find by myself. But I never knew, I don't know if you knew like how long it took for him to drop all of that weight.
I
Cause he
don't know
got
actually.
big.
He got very big.
Yeah.
I'm sure like some of that was like prosthetic and whatnot, but yeah, he definitely was big.
So, but when you showed your mom the picture of his like weight loss, it didn't give you a time frame or anything.
Nah, it was just like before, after. It's like, oh,
That's
okay.
crazy. Before, after, and then
Yeah.
before again.
Yeah. But you
That's
know, like, I mean, he was such a badass guy back in the day. Then he gains all that weight, and then he's kind of just coming back into being a cool person. In my own life experiences, I feel like I've had all those experiences bodily too, where I've been really fat, I've been really fit, and then I've been really skinny. And it's not fun being fat. I'm not trying to fat shame anyone, but it's not fun. And the biggest I was actually 2 summers ago in 2024. And I remember I felt really reluctant to go out in public. And I was kind of like embarrassed and shamed.
oh, I've never thought
And
about that.
my yeah, thank you. But like the one song lyric that really captured the way I was feeling, it was from Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. And it's when
Mhm.
Johnny says, and I don't want the world to see me because I don't think they'd understand. It's like, damn, that one really hit me then.
I
Is there
bet.
is there a particular song lyric that sticks with you for whatever reason? You're like, I see a lot of myself in that one.
There's so many, dude. Like you know me, I listen to a lot of different kind of music, and I like different stuff resonates with me for different reasons. There was that lyric of like from Bob Dylan that I was telling you about from Just Like a Woman, because you asked me, you didn't ask me the same question, but you did ask me like if there was one lyric that you think really defines you, what do you think that it is? And I remember answering with that. So like I guess that would be the obvious answer, but it's funny that you mentioned Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls because I feel like that line, I think everybody like has their own personal moment with it. Like I don't know if that's true, but I definitely have, and I just like have gone all my life kind of assuming that everyone else would too because it's just like it's such a like cliche song and everyone knows it, but like it's cliche for a reason. Like I feel like the reason it's cliche is because everyone's just been at that point where it's just like I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'd understand. And like I feel like at some point that line has resonated with so many people. It just like I could even tear up thinking about it. Like I'm not even joking. And I don't even have a specific reason why. It's just like the magnitude of that line and like just might not have even been intended for like the reasons that people feel so like strongly towards it. But like I don't even know what he's talking about. If you like I don't know. I know every word of that song and like I've never really thought about like what's this guy talking about because like listening to it it's just there's so many lines in there that just kind of make you reflect on your own life.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and I
I
love
love
songs
that
like
song
that.
so much, and I did a deep dive, and he wrote it for a movie called City of Angels with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan. And the whole movie is about Nicolas Cage being an angel that people can't see. But he really, he likes Meg Ryan and he wants her to see him. So he wants to become human, he becomes human, and then that comes with the pain of being human. So Johnny Resnick, he wrote from that perspective, from the character. And I love what you said because it's true. That song's about whatever it's about, that movie, but everybody sees something of themselves in it in their own different way. And there's even one way I see it. There's another way I see it where sometimes when I have guests over, I get kind of shy and like maybe I don't want to see them. And that's the line as well. I don't want the world to see me because I don't think they'd
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it stands true for like, I think any case, because like, even if I would take it from a perspective where I've been there and I felt that, like, if I did just see someone on any random day for just like just a small amount of time, I wouldn't understand. Like, and like him saying, like, I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'd understand, like, that's kind of like, putting shame in like not well at least the way that I relate it to myself is like it feels like you're putting shame into um the fact that they won't get to know you so fast like they won't see the whole story just by looking at you for like a couple of minutes, and like that's where I resonate with it. But what's cool too is that like you were just so able to tell me that it was made for a Meg Ryan Nicolas Cage movie. Like I don't know what happened to the lighting right there. Let me see. Yeah, genuinely don't
All
know.
good. No worries.
But
No worries.
yeah, like I was saying, like that's actually really cool. I didn't think you just like have an answer for that because I always have like well I've always been like, what even is the song about? And I haven't taken the time to wonder. Um, which brings me to I listened to the song that you asked me to, Nutcase. Um
Nutshell.
nut
Nutshell
Nutshell, yes, that's what I
by
said.
Alice in
Um
Chains.
yes, by Alice in Chains. And it was good. I like heard a couple guitar licks that I really liked, but I like listened to it on the way home, right? It was queued up. So next song I played was that song and I was like, okay, cool. Um and then I liked it. Like I didn't skip it, but then I was like, I don't think I really fully heard it because like I was nothing like really like there was a couple of guitar licks and stuff like I said, but there's nothing that just grabbed me and was like here this is like the reason that Omer likes it. So I went back and I played it again and I still like I don't know, I think I missed something. Like it kind of just went over my head both times. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I think that's so fascinating you say that because to me that's like a beloved song. And the beautiful thing about songs is you can attach memories to them. And I remember very distinctly, I love Seattle. I love the city of Seattle. And when I went to Seattle, that is when I started listening to that song. And all those memories are attached to it. And Alice in Chains, they're from there, PNW, Seattle.
Wow.
So I think maybe it has something to do with that. But also, it's just such a sad song. And it's just like a slow crooning.
Yeah. I think I might just not have been in the mood. Like I will revisit it later, but as of right now, it hasn't necessarily grasped me. Which like I feel bad about because I'm like you were really excited about me hearing it, and I love. I thought about when you said like right before I listened to it, I thought about when you said like um I'm so like jealous of you because you get to listen to it for the first time. And that was so cool because I started thinking of a bunch of songs where I was like, I wish I could hear this song for the first time again. Like I never put it into that perspective. But and it got me really excited for the song. So I'm definitely gonna give it another chance. Maybe I was just driving back from work and not in the right headspace for it. But
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But you are so right there about the whole listening to a song for the first time. Um, yeah, it's truly something to be envied. Like a first experience for some things, it's like, wow, that's so precious. That's so beautiful that that's your first time. No way. And
I
you kind of get
agree.
excited.
I agree. And
You can
people
get
said it's
drunk on
cool.
a song and then like it just plays on loop as it did with one of the ones that you sent me, which or two of them actually that you sent me, that they were just on loop in my head and I like just kept listening to them, kept listening to them.
Really.
But eventually, like naturally, you just kind of sober up and that song doesn't hit the same way.
I know what you mean. I feel that way about a lot of rock songs, like classic rock songs at least. Like The Who is definitely one of those bands where I just feel like I could listen to a song my whole life and then like I sober up and eventually I won't listen to it for like a few months and then a year. But there I do feel that way about a lot of classic rock songs, which I'm grateful that there's a huge discography that I can go into and kind of figure out different stuff while I'm in that hiatus of not listening to those songs that I've had on repeat for so long. Um, but they're always every time I play them back, like whenever I'm not sick of them, it just hits just as hard as the first time. Like Baba O'Reilly, the song that I
When I
sent
was
you.
driving back home, I listened to Bob O'Reilly and like what happens when I listen to music is I see things, like I think of a lot of things, like images sort of just pop up. And with Baba O'Reilly, you know how if when you were a kid maybe you had like a VCR player or like a DVR player and then you'd put that like tape in and then there's the previews of films before the actual movie, like the
Yeah.
trailers. I was just picturing like an 80s movie and the trailer is is that song, Baba
That's
O'Reilly.
so cool that you say that because I've always had like visions and pictures of that song in my head and um I have different memories with it than you, but I have also envisioned it on a VCR player. Like all the videos and images that I do see in my head, they are playing like on a TV that's connected to a VCR. So that's really cool because I thought I just felt that way because like my dad showed it to me and like VCR was like a big thing when we were watching movies together and stuff. So I thought that's why I associated those things together, but it's actually really cool that you feel that way too.
Yeah, a lot of the music that you send me, a lot of the songs, they literally transport me to a different time. Like
Right?
Dream by the Everly Brothers. I
I love
literally
that
feel
song.
like,
It's so
whoa, it's
good.
like the 50s or something. And then Romeo and Juliet, I feel like it's actually like the 70s or 80s. And then this one, like I straight up was just thinking of the 80s. And I think it's cool how music has that ability. And I've reflected a lot. Music and fragrances both can pull you in and make you think of memories. But so many people aspire to be musicians. Not a whole lot of people aspire to be perfume makers. Interesting, huh?
That is pretty interesting, and there's a lot of money there too. And I don't know if you knew this, but before I started working at J&M, I worked at a perfume store. Like I was selling perfume and stuff. And dang, like I don't even I'm just whatever, I'll say it. There's like certain their whole gimmick was like to make money you had to push certain brands over other brands, right? And I like didn't like that. Like I didn't think it was like gonna work. Honestly, I was like, why would somebody come in here and be like, I want Chanel like Mademoiselle, and I'll be like, nah, take this instead. Why would they listen to me? They've never heard of this or anything. But it was very much like playing into how much of like we're such sensory beings that you're right. Like they smells and music can transport you to another time and it is all very psychological. Like for me, you know Gardenia? like the flower.
Yeah.
So for me, whenever I was every time I went to Karachi, there was always these little boys or girls, like kids, probably 7 years old max, like genuine children. They would run around with these little bracelets, and they were beggars, and they would sell these little bracelets made out of gardenia, and like whoever I was with driving at the time would always just like buy some and pass them around in the car and give them to us. And I just remember like the smell was just so, it was like everything. I love the smell of those flowers. I thought they were like the best smell ever. And when I started working there, everyone was asking me, like the rest of the team, they were like, so what kind of smells do you like? And I would go for everything subconsciously that had gardenia in it, right? And I didn't know, but everyone was judging me and they were like, you like that smell? And I was like, yeah, it smells amazing. And they were like, that smells like an old lady. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, huh? And like, I would show customers the smells that I would like, and they'd be like, that smells like church. Like, that smells like my grandma at church. Like, what are you talking about? You know, but every time I would show it to someone who was Irani or like Pakistani or like not really Indian, but like mostly people from like the Middle East. I would show it to them, they would love it. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. This is heaven." So like that was one thing, but another thing was like the way that we would sell to them. It was crazy. Like it was almost unbelievable how much like psychology is involved in selling perfume. Like I would some there's this perfume called Daisy by Marc Jacobs, right? It smells like daisies. That's what it's called. And everybody loves it because the bottle's super cute and it has these little flowers on them. Like almost everyone came in asking for it. At least 70% of the customers a day would come in asking for this darn perfume. Like it wasn't even that great, but they just loved it, right? So we would just we'd tell they'd be like, "Can I try it?" I'd be like, "Yeah." They'd be like, "Smells great, great, go." And then one day this lady came in and I sprayed it and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it smells great." And my boss, he was crazy. He was like, that guy could sell anything. Like he could sell water to a fish. Like I'm not even joking. The most impressive salesperson I've ever seen. Like and he has fun with it. Like it's not serious with him. Like Alan's a great salesperson too, but he is serious about like selling. Like he wants to get his sales. Like this guy is just like whatever. Like happens, doesn't. But he came up in the middle of the sale and he grabbed the scent strip from the lady that had the Daisy by Marc Jacobs on it and he smelled it. He was like, "This smells like bananas." And she was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, smell it. It smells like bananas." And she smelled it and she was like, "Oh my gosh, yuck, that smells like bananas." And she like threw it on the counter. And then I smelled it right after the same scent strip that I just sprayed. And I was like, dude, ew, it smells like a straight up banana. It's so psychological. Like if you get
Yeah.
somebody to think of something else, they can smell something else. That's crazy. Like it was
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
yeah.
thinking about that. Like all the things you can project onto the world outside of you, whatever fantasies or like the way you want to see a thing. It's crazy how it can change so much. And since we were also talking about music earlier, something I always talk to my friends about is I don't understand the hype behind Drake because his songs are so simple. But I feel like he's a good example of that, where you brand something and so it just sells and it sells and it sells.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, Drake, he like I said, I don't keep up with a lot of celebrity stuff. Take care, Drake. I'm not gonna lie. Like that was awesome. Like but everything I
I
heard
like
from
Too
him.
Long. I figured out the name, Too Long by Drake and Rihanna. That's a good one.
What I don't even know what I don't think I've heard that song before actually. But it must have been off of their earlier stuff. I don't know. That whole Take Care album, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like Shot for Me. No,
I gotta
really?
check it out. My friend Oleon, he really wants me to. I gotta check it out.
I'm pretty sure like the motto and headlines and stuff is on that album too. It's like his like OG album. I don't know,
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
I'm not
That album
cultured
rocked.
there.
See, I'm not either, but I remember listening to that album in middle school and being like, dude, this goes hard. And but ever since then, I don't think he released like a couple songs here and there, like Up All Night was good and like I don't know. There was a couple stuff here and there that I liked,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I didn't like Drake much after that. And then I didn't
But the way
hear
you're speaking, it sounds like you understand the hype.
I don't understand the hype. I just
You
know
don't?
that's all
Okay.
I know about him is like he had take care, then he was kind of just Drake for a while. I know this like random girl, Bobby Altoff. Yeah, Bobby Altoff had a podcast with him, which I randomly ended up seeing. I thought it was really funny. And then Kendrick dissed him and dissed him really bad. And then now I just feel like Drake, you suck. Like, but I don't know anything personally about it. This is just like stuff that I hear in the background. Because I'm like you, I'm so out of the loop with stuff. My little sisters tell me stuff, and I might see something on social media here and there, but I'm so out of the loop with any of that. So I
And
don't really get the hype.
yeah, but I think that's a cool thing. I think there's an advantage to just kind of staying out of the loop. And as I was saying earlier, like the stuff you send me, it just seems like it transports me to a different era. Do you have a favorite era that you look back at? Because you weren't around back then, but I'm sure you get that sort of nostalgia.
I mean, yeah, kind of to an extent. I always think of because this question where it's just like, what's your favorite era? Like, I feel like that's such a common question. Um, and I was in this class in college at one point. It was an English class, but we'd always start off with these icebreakers where one kid would prepare a question for the class and everybody else would answer, right? And every class, a different kid would have to come up with the icebreaker question, and it was really funny because there was this like there was this kid, I actually don't know where he was from, but he was black, and then he was and there was another kid sitting like right next to him who had asked the question, and like right as soon as it started, because usually we'll go around the whole room, but the kid asked like, what if you could go back to any decade, like what decade would it be? And this this black kid just straight up rolled his eyes at him, and like because he looked at the black kid for an answer, and he was just like rolling his eyes, and he was like, "You think I want to go back like, at all?" And I always think about that, so I'm like, yeah, like it would have been cool to be back in so many times, but like as a colored person, I don't think I like actually want to go back to a period in time. But I always do think about that because it was really funny. Like I was like, you know, you're so right. How has nobody said that yet? But I don't know. I think I don't think I would really go back to any time. If anything, I would go forward, like into the
Mm.
future and see what that's like. But
There,
honestly, I'm such a nerd. I'd probably say like when the dinosaurs were alive, and I would just have a big stick or something to fend for myself. I'd be cool with that because I get to see dinosaurs. But other than that, like I get the glitz and the glamour and the disco and the rock and roll, and it would have been cool to see. I would have loved to go to Woodstock. So if anything, that's the closest I could get to the answering that question. But I don't really feel nostalgic about any particular period.
I actually like that answer. And one of the realizations for me in the past year, 2025, was I have to cut off my past. I have to not let it chain me and just keep moving forward. And there's this movie, wonderful movie I watched with my dad. It's called Midnight in Paris. And in the film, Owen Wilson, he's a writer, and he ends up like taking this wrong turn out an alley. And suddenly he's now in, I think, like the 40s or the 30s, something
I
like
know
that.
what you're talking about.
You do
Yeah.
know it. Yeah, okay. So you know
Yeah.
how like at the end, like the girl that he's been hanging out with, she ends up going to an era before her. And she's like, wow, this is amazing. And she
I
ends up
don't.
staying there. And he tells her, no, no, you don't get it. Your era, your original era, which is older for him. He's like, that's a great era to be in. Like, stay there. And she's like, no, no. And so she ends up staying then. And he goes back to his time. And so the point of that film or the ending was you're where you're supposed to be. And whatever came before might have been great, but you weren't born then. You were born whenever you were born.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Dang. I really like you are where you're supposed to be. I think a lot of like mm, being not being tied down to your past and just moving on, like you were saying, and just not letting it hold you back. I think a lot of that comes from just not thinking too hard about it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. I've been doing this all day. Like, what were we talking about?
You're all good. You're all good. But
No.
nostalgia and the
Um,
past. I feel like nostalgia can be a noose sometimes.
and yeah, I could see that. But I don't necessarily, it depends how you look at it. Because
Of course.
nostalgia for me, like I feel like it has like a good connotation to it. Like you're remembering something in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
So why should that be a news?
It can be. It can be a noose sometimes. Um, yeah, I think it's good to remember the past, but to just not let it rule your present. Like
I
live today and create a different future, a better future.
Yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, no, I think a lot I think that yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is just a lot of just leaving that behind and just like being like live and let die is by just having that exact attitude and just saying like how you said nostalgia can be a noose, like it's how you remember it. If you just let it live and let die, then that's the best way to move past and just let your not let your past hold you back, you know, and by remembering that you are where you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So why live in the past? Like people say it all the time, why live in the past? But I think no, keeping in mind that you are where exactly where you're supposed to be helps move past the past. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I write so much and I've written every single day for years and years and years. And so I have like a lot to look back at. And at some point it like for me, I'm just sharing my experience. It felt like, damn, I'm letting this get in the way of looking forward. So
Do you
just
find
leaving.
yourself looking back at your notes a lot? Like how often do you think you do that?
Not as much anymore. I think I've changed quite a bit, but before I used to look back quite a bit and just try to figure things out. But the best way to figure stuff out is to just do in the now.
Right? That makes sense, of course.
Yeah. There was something I was thinking about. I don't remember what you said exactly earlier, but I wanted to share with you that sometimes you can do something really cool, and then when you tell people about it, it's like they don't really care. And I was telling this to my dad. I was like, you know, I survived a shark in Miami, and like I wasn't thinking about telling that to people, but it makes for a great story.
Yeah.
But it seems like 9 times out of 10 when I tell people, they're just like, "Oh, okay, cool." You know?
What I think it is, if I'm being completely honest with you, is that I think people are expecting a lot more action. Like when you say that you're a shark attack survivor, like when you told me, I was expecting you to have made contact with a shark. You know, I think that's where the story lacks. Like I think not saying you're a shark attack survivor and just telling the story about the shark, you would get a bigger reaction.
Yeah. What I said to you earlier, you're a great storyteller.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate
What's the
that.
trick to being a good storyteller?
I don't know, man. Like I think I went over this with you a little bit. Was that like I couldn't tell you what it is, but what I can tell you is that when I tell someone else to tell the story, they're missing out on these little details that are the funniest part of the whole story. Where I'm just like, no, you forgot to mention the part where earlier he said this, and that's why it's ironic. You know, like I just feel like maybe it's just that people miss out on the little details. I thought I was just reading too hard into it and just being like, oh no, maybe only I find that funny, but that's got to be it because every time I tell a story, people like it, and then when I tell someone else, I'm like, no, you have to say because of that. Like, so that's the only thing I could think of. But I think I'm also just really good at voices. That might be another
You
thing.
are. You
I
really
just
are.
like I don't know, like especially when I'm like heated about something, I will go off and just like mock you, like like there's no feeling bad about it either. Like I've in front of Alan made fun of his accent. Like I'll be like, oh yeah, it is the Ferrari vroom vroom. Like he's just like, what the heck? Like, but
Wow.
yeah, no, I don't. It's even my mom. Like I'll make a little accent for her but the accent gets really good if the more angry I am at her. So I think I just have to be like in it. If I'm not in it or like ready to tell a story or still like aggravated by something that happened, I'll I'll just pass it on to someone else. I'll be like, you tell it. But I do have a theory. So you know how I told you I'm not very expressive. Like I don't I don't really express myself in the moment when things happen. I think like when things happen in front of me, I kind of just like process it. I just kind of stare at it and like indulge in how like absurd it is. And then when I'm like later reflecting on it and telling the story, I think that's where all of my emotions actually come out because I'm like, hold on, no, because this happened and that's weird, you know? So like I think that might be what it is I can't react in the moment, so I react while I'm telling the story. Like I can only tell a story, my sister will disagree, but I can only tell a story so many times before I can just never tell it again. I'm sick of it. I'm like, I'm done telling a story. I'm never going to say it again because I'm not as excited about it. I'm over it, you know? So it's probably just that I don't know how to let my emotions out right now. So I'm going to do it later when I reflect on what just happened. So, like, that's
And I
probably
think
what
I've
it is.
seen that. I've actually
Yeah.
seen you be indulging. Like you're like a public observer.
I really am. I'm like, wow. Like, and the best part about it, and I think this is where you guys think I'm a good, like, people person, is that, like, in the moment, I just react like, I just go with the flow because I don't know what else to do. I'm like, wow. Like, when customers say something to me that's, like, so crazy, I'll be like, no way. Like, I mean it in a condescending way, but they take it in a, she's right there with me kind of way. And I'm like, like, I don't know. Um, these poor people, like, they're so dumb. Sometimes I don't even know how to navigate the situation. Like, I think seeing people just like at J&M also and just like watching them has just discouraged me from wanting to talk to people later in my days, and like, and that's saying a lot because I'm probably just over like dealing with customers and stuff like that. Um because this is they're very good clients compared to people I've seen in most stores. Like Gigi, she works at Journeys and it's the same company and it's a whole different beast. Like I don't even know how she does what she does. But I don't know. Like I see these people and I'm like, are you serious? Like the other day I was walking to the back and this guy, he was trying on a quarter zip and he had, right when I was passing him up was the moment he decided he wanted to take this quarter zip off. And when he took it off, it like clung onto his shirt, so his shirt came off too. So next thing I know, there's just like this shirtless man next to me, and I'm just I'm like, I want to hyperventilate, but I just so casually walk into the back like nothing happened. And then I'll call my boyfriend and be like, you don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, and I think that's where like the dramaticness of the situation comes out is when I actually feel like I can express myself. But otherwise, I just observe, and I'm like, wow.
You have the theatrics nailed because as you said, like we see you as a people person, but you don't see yourself that way.
Mm-mm. Can you talk with me?
How do you nail that performance?
I don't know. I told you the closest thing I can think of is like thinking of just the preppiest girl I know and just trying to channel her energy. You know, that's what
Regina
I.
George?
No, she's mean. No, I feel like I'm good at channeling people for certain situations, but I don't think I could actually channel someone who's mean and not like laugh. I don't think I
Mm.
could be mean to someone genuinely and follow through with it without just laughing and being like, that wasn't
Now
me.
that is interesting. And I have to ask myself if I could or couldn't. Which actually makes me wonder, are you ever scared to offend?
Yeah, I really am. Like, it depends. It depends, actually. Again, I know that's not answer for a lot of things because for
And
certain
that's fine. That's like such a
situations,
human thing. It depends on so much. Yeah.
yeah. Um, okay, let's say like aside being social actors because you don't want to offend your boss or you don't want to offend your teacher, so you're not gonna obviously say like the same thing. If we're just talking about like my friends and like my close circle of people, besides my mom, I'll be brutally honest. I'm like very straightforward about the way I say things. Like you've seen the way I talk to Wilson. I'm like, are you crazy? You know, like I won't hold back, and I can't. Like even if I tried to verbally hold back, you would see it all over my face. Like it's so funny because the more I pull it back verbally, the more it shows on my face. I feel like I'll full on just like snarl at someone. It's
I feel
crazy.
like I've seen that too.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like I've been in so many situations where I just think I'm looking at someone and the person next to me will be like, fix your face. I'm like, oh sorry, like I didn't mean to.
That's a
But
skill, man. That is a real skill. Fix your face.
I'm like, oops, I didn't even realize my face was doing anything. But yeah, no, for the most part, for with my friends, I don't choose to be close to somebody unless I feel like I can just speak my mind, say what's on my mind. The most I will do is I have certain friends who like are probably a little bit more sensitive to they they don't like to be wrong, or like some of them are like sensitive about just the way you approach things. Like I say like I would say sometimes I will tweak the way that I say things depending on some people. And just because more than anything, not because I'm afraid to offend, but more because I want a certain outcome and I know how to approach it to get to that point. Um, but no, like usually when people freak out, which I've never had anyone like freak out on me besides my mom, and even then I just kind of feel like laughing because I don't freak out too much. So I just don't see what I don't know. I do see a point to freaking out, and I do freak out. Like, I'm not like a perfect person where I'm just like, oh, I'm so zen and I'm so cool. I will freak out about stuff, but certain stuff that I wouldn't freak out about, like, I couldn't be bothered to even think about, you
No,
know.
I'm interested in what you said right there. The freaking out part. What's the benefit of doing that sometimes?
That's what I'm saying. There is no benefit to it. That's why
Oh,
I feel like my body and my sound mind, and like I said, I don't do things unless I understand them, and I'm very reasonable. So like I know that unless I can if there's nothing I can do about a situation except for stress, I'm not going to stress because that's all I can do. And there's no benefit to that. So that's why I don't crash out. That's why I don't freak out. That's why I don't like unless like I'm going through like a because I'm still just a girl, unless it's like that time, like I'm very like if there's nothing I can do except for freak out, I'm not gonna freak out. If there's nothing I can do except for stress, I'm not gonna stress because all that does is like I can go into the medical like aspects of it, but you were a psychology major, like all it does is like weaken your immune system and like cause wrinkles and like just in the longer run, it's like it makes you sick to stress. So why would I do that if that's all I can do? If there's something I can do about a situation instead of stressing, I'll just fix the problem because then I don't have to stress about it. Because I don't like to stress. Like it just when I stress, I think I've gotten to the point where I hate stressing so much that when I do stress, I dissociate. I would rather dissociate than stress. And I see that pouring in because if I get stressed out about something, sometimes instead of just doing the solution, I'll dissociate because I'm like, I'm stressed. But I would rather do that than stress. Like I just can't. Like I don't know how my body does it so well. And I'm very like knock on wood, like very proud of myself that I just I know like my even my body knows because you can say like I'm not stressed about it, all I can do is stress, but in the back of your mind you can still be like upset and stressed about it, and that does happen sometimes, but for most part, like unless like someone died or something, like I can be like okay, there's nothing I can do but stress, so just forget about it, and on to the next thing.
yeah.
um
For the
yeah.
past few days, there's a quote that I've been living by. Um, it's by Marcus Aurelius. He says something like, "A calm mind is closer to strength," and I believe that. I really do, because emotions they can go from here, and then they can just like shoot up the elevator up to your brain, and it
Hmm.
can just change so much. And that could
Yeah,
be attached with stress and all that. And
I know, and I think if we put more focus on just like identifying that things would become easier, just realizing that and it's emotion and it's not there's no reason for it, and or even that the reason for it might be emotion, like sometimes I'll call my boyfriend and I'll just be like mad at him and he'll be like, "Why are you mad at me?" And I'm like, "I just miss you." Like I can't help it, but like I'm frustrated because like I just miss you and like I want to like hang out with you and I want to be with you and I can't, and I know I shouldn't be angry, but I am. I can't help it because I can't like do anything, and like it is like it is what it is. It's stressful, but um I
What
don't know.
emotion hijacks your heart the most?
Oh, don't ask me that. Okay, you can ask me that just because you're a psychology major. I would say sadness. Um, so like, and it's not something I'm like trying to hide or like that I feel embarrassed about, but like I am, like I do have depression, like a bunch of different kinds of depression too. So I do feel sadness the most. But it's just, I think I just feel it so often, and like before I used to be so like, why do I feel sad if like I don't like have a reason to be sad, and like my body just like I just act like I'm sad all the time and I don't want to be, and I just want to be out there doing stuff, but like I can't get out of bed for some reason, and like like all that kind of stuff. But I think instead of like being sad about like the fact that I'm sad without a reason to be sad, I think at this point it's just gotten to a point where I always feel like that, so I don't really know what it's like to not feel sad. So that's just like the norm, And I think because I do have medicine for it, but I don't necessarily like to take it because then I know what the normal is, and this isn't the normal anymore. So I do have something to relate it to that's a lot better than where I'm at, instead of just like making peace with where I'm at and then just going from there. Does that make sense? Like I think about it, this is such a weird way to like relate your own life and emotions, but this is how I think about it. So, um, imagine like how people say like, oh, chickens shouldn't be slaughtered because they're kept in like such bad conditions and they're sad all their lives, and like, but it's just like, okay, if they were raised in captivity, if they live in captivity, they don't know anything except for captivity. It's like Plato's algorithm, or allegory. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. So it's like the same thing. If you don't know anything but that life, like you have nothing to relate it to that's any better or like any different. Um, so that's what I kind of just think of because I don't like taking medicine, and maybe I'm just being stupid by saying that, but I genuinely like feel like why not? Like if I have nothing to relate it to, like being normal, feeling normal, like why shouldn't this just be the normal? And then I just branch off from there, and like everyone has their own journeys. Why can't this just be mine? Um, so yeah, I feel like probably sadness is like the emotion that I like that hits me the hardest, but I think it's also the emotion that I have the most peace with because I've just felt it so long and I have such like a long relationship with it and like gone through so much with it that I just know it so well, and I'm just like whatever. It's there. It is what it is. Um but yeah, and I don't think it's like sometimes I just feel like happy to feel sad, if that makes sense. Like when I cry, I don't cry about like actual stuff that I should cry about. I cry about really happy stuff. Like I
There's
remember
something
what
addictive about sorrow sometimes. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Can you say that again?
There's something addictive about sorrow sometimes.
Yeah, that can be a slippery slope because like
Certainly.
sometimes like I feel like when I do take my medicine, for example, I don't sleep for as long as I usually would. Like if I wasn't taking my medicine, when I don't take my medicine, it's unhealthy, but I could sleep for up to like 14, 15 hours. If nobody wakes me up, I will sleep for so long. But when I'm on my medicine, I can't sleep more than 6 hours. And I'm just like, oh, but I just like being sleepy and sleeping through like the world, like being upset, which is crazy because it's like, what are you talking about? But it's also like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like, it is an addictive feeling, but that's not like, I don't know.
It reminds me
I
of
don't
something I
know.
was telling you earlier. I just feel like some souls are born sad, and that
Maybe.
there's nothing that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I don't think so either. I think it could be a good thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you like about sadness? What does it do for you?
I feel like maybe I don't know. Like I don't this is just me guessing and theorizing, but I'm guessing. that because I have to feel sad like uncontrollably, like it's just something I can't help but feel. In moments where I should be like super happy or super angry or like any of that stuff, and I don't like express my emotions as much as normal people would, like we were saying, like talking about earlier, we're like, I won't like jump with joy and I won't like scream at someone. Like that's just not you're like, oh my god, like that's just not me, you
I love
know?
it.
But whenever I'm sad, like it's uncontrollable. It's not something that I'm like even like with those emotions, it's not something like it's something that hits me and I don't know how to process them. With sadness, it's just like an emotion that I have and I know how to process it and I'm familiar with it and it just feels the most natural to me.
The
So
familiarity. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what it is most likely.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
just
I
like
think
most like me, which I'm not. I don't think I'm a sad person by default. I don't. I genuinely don't think that. I think I feel sad, but I don't think I'm a sad person.
yeah, your energy isn't really contagious to sadness. I don't think.
Yeah. That's why when people say like they're sad people, you don't automatically assume like they're depressed or something. You can just have that like
Yeah.
melancholy vibe about you
But
and just
there
feel
are
something.
some people where you come into contact with them and you feel the energy. And you and I, we had a conversation maybe a month ago where I was telling you sometimes when you come into contact with certain people, it's like it triggers something in you or it activates something in you, and you're like, wait, like I'm not the person you know anymore, but yet here we are and we're talking, we're interacting, and it just kind of feels like an anomaly because that person might be from your past, and you're like, wait, I'm not that person anymore, but
I
here we
just
are.
I don't know. Like, am I not growing? Because I feel like when I meet people from my past, like I feel like nothing changes. Like every time I meet someone from my past or someone I haven't seen in years, like I feel like we pick right back up at where we left off, especially if we were close.
Without fail.
Without fail. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, so like I told you I went to my uncle's wedding, right? In Bali. Him and his brother, they're like I said, they're like my brothers. Like I grew up with them. We've gone on so many family vacations together for years and years and like they've literally taught me so much. They've raised me. Like we've had sleepovers and built forts together, like you name it. They're my brothers. But then for a while, like after I was living in Texas for so long and they were living in Dubai for so long, we didn't see each other for dude, like 13 years or something. Like and as soon as I saw them, like I saw Danish, the one who got married in Bali. I saw him a few months prior, almost a year prior. Um so and with him like it picked back up where exactly where it left off, but I had seen him in Bali. But then in Bali when I saw Daniel, I was like I hadn't seen him in even longer. Like it just like we were literally like my sisters were in shock because my poor little sister is like they've gotten beaten up by me all their lives and they've never been able to do anything about it because no because like they just can't but because I'm older, like a lot older, but they just saw me like literally get thrown to the ground and like abused, like literally wrestled and like tossed around by these guys. And they were like, is this really happening? Like, is she getting beaten up right now? Like, we're fully grown and we were running around, like, hitting each other. And everyone was like, are you serious? Like, y'all are not children anymore. And whenever I went back to Karachi and I saw Miza, that's my friend's name from Karachi, like my best friend from childhood that I was telling you about. Like, sure, she was like the bride and it was a very big event, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time with her, but in the few moments that I did get to hang out with her and like just see her or like be close to her, it genuinely felt like I was transported like back in time and we're like best friends again. Like I of course I'll always love the girl and we'll always have this like undeniable bond, but I haven't spoken to her or hung out with her in like almost a decade, but just like not just feeling like we can pick back up where we left off based on conversation, but like feeling it like there. Like it was so weird. It's like a small moment, but we were at this farmhouse and she people were like passing around, the caterers were passing around like little samplers for us to eat stuff. And she was like, "Oh, this is really good." And she fed it to me. And like we haven't seen each other in like almost a decade. And this girl just all she did was like feed me a cheese ball or something. And I was just like, just that just felt like we were 10 years old again and just hanging out in her house. Like I don't know how, just like there was like the smells, but then also just like the proximity of like me being so close to her again, like in real life. And like, I don't know, it was so weird. Like, it just feels like really picking right back up where I left off with almost everyone. Like, I've seen so many people I haven't seen in years, and it just feels like, and they even tell me, they're like, I feel like you haven't changed at all. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be offended, but I'm not offended because I thought I was like so
I think it can be
cool.
a good
Like,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, like
It's
I
cool when it works out like that. Yeah.
right, yeah, like I'm so glad I haven't changed. Like it feels good that I haven't changed in a way that like in the sense that like I've always thought that like the older I get, I'm like we were talking about earlier, I was like, I feel like if I had just stuck with all the stuff that I did when I was younger, I would have gotten so much further and done so much other stuff in my life. Um man, I lost it again. Dang it.
Gone to the ether.
No. Huh?
Gone to the ether.
Yeah, dude. I don't know where
You
it's
gotta,
from.
yeah.
I really don't. This is happening a lot today. I
It's
don't know
all
what it
good.
is.
It's
It's
only
on
human.
here.
It is only human.
That's what I tell myself. I'm like, I'm just a girl.
It don't, speaking of a decade, by the way, like it doesn't really feel like 10 years since 2016, but I feel like there's a very good chance you and I must have walked past each other in the halls of high school without
That's
knowing it.
likely.
And
That's
you're the
likely.
first person I've met in real life where I always get curious about that. Where like if I go to, I don't know, somewhere on Westheimer and I walk past someone, maybe I don't know them at that moment, but like maybe 7 years down the line, I will know them. And you're the first example where that actually hit me in real life where, oh my God, we went to the same high school. We didn't know each other. And now somehow we do.
I
Crazy.
don't know. Like, I know people get excited about that kind of stuff, and it is cool. But that's another one of those things that sends me into like an existential crisis where I'm just like, whoa, like, like,
Why?
wow. Because I don't like to see just some dude that I would never even like think about looking at in my whole life, like just passing by me like a million other people do every single day, and be like, I might know him later in life. Like that's too much for me. Okay, if I know him later in life, I know him later in life. It's just too much to think
Too much
like
in the moment.
not just in the moment because then I don't am I crazy or do other people do this where I'm just like I start thinking about like okay, if you were to tell me if I were to go out there right now like know that there was a bunch of people out there right now who's I would cross paths with and like maybe later down the line 5 years from now I would be best friends with them or something. I am not going to stop thinking about what they do with their lives. Do they have kids? Are they in love with someone? Like I would think about everything because it's mind boggling to me a lot of the times too. Like I told you, I had like I struggled with even like grasping the fact that I was human for such a long time. Let alone the fact that the guy literally who lives across the detention pond from me has a whole family and a whole life of his own, and I'm not the only person in this world. And like, I don't know. I just think that's weird. I think I should be the only person in this world, and everyone else is like actors and side characters, and I don't know. But then I don't think that because then I'll get close to someone and I'll be like, no, that person has their whole own life and they're also like a person. But giving that like magnitude to just some rando across the street, that's too much to think about. That's too many lives to think about.
Really, you were right. You're right. And earlier I was telling you about like how I randomly think about the French Revolution sometimes, my Roman Empire.
Your Roman
And I
Empire.
get thoughts like that sometimes. Like, there must have been a writer during the French Revolution who he just, I don't know, maybe died or something.
Yeah,
And that was it. Or like some baker in Paris. Like nobody remembers him.
that's true.
There's
So
just so many humans that have existed like always and forever. And it's like everybody's had their own experience and
that's what I'm saying. Like, how do people know that? Just and just be cool with it and just be like, that's life. Like,
Yeah.
I could either be someone super significant or I could just mean nothing in 20 years. Like,
I mean, even
what?
crazier, I wonder, like, even crazier, I wonder if me and you, if our ancestors knew each other, you know? Because we come from, like, very similar, same culture. It's like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if, like, 30 years from now, our kids know each other? You know, like, they're just like, wow, like, 30 years from now, we won't have kids. Our grandkids know each other. And they're like, wow, your grandma did a podcast with my grandpa. Like, who knows? Anything like that could happen, but that gets my heart racing so fast. Am I crazy for that? Like, I don't like thinking about that.
so let me ask
That's,
you, do you believe in aliens?
yeah, yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
this
you're
world is.
talking about, like, man, the magnitude, and you're like, I agree with you. It is a lot to take in.
It
But then
is. So like
aliens,
that's what I'm saying to even think about what's beyond the planet Earth. Like, yeah, there's probably life out there. There's probably so much out there. I can barely grasp what's on this planet itself.
one of the
Like,
things that gives me so much, like, courage sometimes to make a fool of myself if I do is, and I don't think I ever told you this, but I wrote a book, and there's just like one part in there where like one of the friends of one of the characters, he says to him, "Do you think aliens think anything about what you do? Like, do you think they care about anything you do?" And it's just such a humbling thought that would aliens care about this? And if the answer is no, then damn.
I mean, do I? Because it's like if the roles were reversed, right? Do we believe in aliens? Yeah. Do we care what they're doing at this exact moment in time? If
No,
they're living lives similar to us, no. If
right?
it's actually like brain in the vat theory and they're all they're doing is observing us and we're like their number one priority, sure. But what do you think about that theory, by the way? Have you ever heard that?
Tell me about it.
Brain in the vat theory. I don't It's been a while since I've like thought or like
Is it like a
looked into
Matrix
it.
thing?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like it's like simulation theory, but it's like the people controlling the simulation are like not even necessarily God, which is what I would like put the next step as. Like, if this is built like a simulation, like the person controlling the simulation is probably God, you know? But the theory is that instead of God, it's like I don't know, like some sort of higher evolved beings. Doesn't necessarily have to be aliens. A lot of people have said, like, we've already gone through this whole thing where we've considered simulation theory and we've built AI and then we built robots and then the robots ended up taking over. And this is the product of the robots taking over is that now they can't extort like originality. And that's why we're literally just brains in a vat that are being extorted for I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what reason, but yeah, it's like brain in the vat. It's like simulation theory, but that instead of a higher purpose controlling us, it's like a more evolved civilization or being that's not necessarily godlike, but I think I don't know if I'm remembering this wrong, but from what I remember, it's like a supervisor with a more malicious intent than someone godly would have.
That is an interesting way to put it. A supervisor with the malicious intent. Huh.
Yeah, and like I mean maybe this is just like the religiousness in me thinking that like this supervisor is still at the end of the day being supervised by God and we're even smaller than we thought we were before. But that's just me trying to factor God into it, but yeah, like it is like it's not necessarily like that's the end all be all is this malicious supervisor. Like it could be just some random alien kids like toy experiment that we're part of. You know, that's like another possibility. It's just kind of the idea of us being monitored and extorted for our human like properties that robots or artificial intelligence can't necessarily replicate. You know,
Yeah,
creativity is
kind
what
of.
we say in most what's it called? Conspiracy theories. Sorry. Mine went blank again.
No, you're good. You're good. You know, I think for me, the greatest evidence of like just something else is emotions, feelings. I feel like you can never explain feelings consistently. And I even talked to Richard about this, and I love what he said, where I was telling him like humans don't make sense sometimes. Sometimes the way we think or the way we do things, it just doesn't make sense. And that doesn't mean like we're necessarily bad. It's just a part of being human. So I
We're
feel
just
like all that randomness and even the inconsistencies in us, I feel like that's evidence of something else. I don't know if that's simulation theory, as you would put it, but yeah.
I don't know. There are certain things about simulation theory that I do find intriguing. We vaguely talked about like um just the reasons that I think about it, not just like how I kind of relate life to a video game, you know, because of QED, and it's kind of parallel to the thinking of Descartes, where he just thinks that nothing really exists unless you're observing it. Unless we're perceiving it, it doesn't exist, and we're sensory beings, so we can be tricked. Like that's pretty much, and I could totally get behind that based on QED. Like I've always just thought Descartes, because I learned about Descartes before I learned about QED, and I thought that he was just like cool, and I was like, that makes sense. But then after learning about it, I was like, okay, what he's saying actually really does make sense. Like cogito ergo sum, like the only reason that anything exists is because you are observing it, and at a subatomic level, to see that that's actually the case, that subatomic particles behave randomly unless they're being observed, whether through it's like through physical observation through a human eye or just a camera.
Yeah.
Like
That thing you
pretty
mentioned to
smart.
me about water, that was
Yeah,
very
you should.
fascinating.
I'll send you a video about it. It's actually really cool. And it'll have you thinking about things in like a way different way, because it's just like if it's such a at a subatomic level where everything behaves differently than what we know, and at an atomic level, like where the laws of physics, which are the most basic things that define everything that we know about the way things work, don't apply. Like that's gotta have some kind of bigger effect on like the big picture, for if at a subatomic level none of that even like works out or makes sense or
Could
acts
you
the way that it
explain
should.
that water thing, please, again?
Yeah, so I'm gonna explain it really, really bad, but there's this experiment that they conduct where they'll have like certain particles go through, like they'll observe different types of particles. Like one of them will be water particles, and say that they have a pattern, like a natural pattern of, if you were to jot them against a wall, they would print like a wave, right? Just to make it simple, water, so it's a wave. Uh, so they would shoot these like water particles and jot them down on like another wall, right? Like from this wall to this wall, they would shoot these like water particles down and watch the way that they behave, and they behave the way they should. They jot down just like a wave. Right, right, they should. Just the way that they should. If it's air and it's just like a bunch of random dots, that's exactly what it does. If it's like whatever it is, it behaves the way that it should, and it records on this wall in the way that it should. But once they remove human observation from this experiment, like people just like all the people conducting the experiment are like, we're just gonna walk out of the room and just like let it happen and not, and like go get a drink or something, right? And come back in a little bit with our coffees or whatever. We'll see how it behaves. It behaves completely randomly. Like the water that just went like this, it's doing a bunch of random stuff that it shouldn't have done. And they're like, what's going on? So they try it again, and they're watching it, and it does the wave. It does exactly what it should. But as soon as they look away, literally all it takes is like looking from here to like facing away, it acts randomly. When they put cameras on it, it acts the way that it should. It records like a wave just like it should. They remove the cameras, they remove any kind of observation, and it acts randomly. So literally what like subatomic particles do not behave, they don't take the shape of what they should be unless they're being observed. Like if you're not looking at something, it's not there. It's random. It's just it doesn't like, you know what I mean? Does that
I
make sense
do,
to
and
you?
it's so
Okay.
incredible. And I remember that we had that conversation because you were telling me, man, I think I'm so cool, but the minute I have an observer on me,
Yeah, as soon
I
as
just
someone looks
lose
at
it.
me. Which might be the opposite, because hopefully I'm like supposed to be cool, and the minute someone observes me, I act really weird and random, but maybe I am just really weird and random in the
It's a
ways.
thing. It's definitely a thing. And like as I told you earlier, for me, when I'm driving and I sing, I'm like, and I don't record it, I'm like, that was beautiful. That was
That was
amazing.
awesome, yeah.
And then the minute I hit the record, I'm like, I'm not hitting it the same way. But I told you also that one time when we had that conversation that it actually gives me strength sometimes, oftentimes when I have observers. And the example I gave you was when I'm out there in the real world, it feels like the world is asking me, it's demanding me, okay, show me who you really are. And that's when I put on the greatest performance because it
Yeah, which
demands an answer,
that's what I'm
which is
saying. Good for
interesting.
you, because that's what I'm saying. I completely just put it on a stretch by saying, "Oh, I'm being observed, so I'm acting like strangely." But no, like I genuinely feel like I just am bad under pressure. So, and I feel like some people are good under pressure. I feel like some people perform the best under pressure, and then I don't know.
You know, it's interesting you put it that way, pressure. I don't know if I'd call it pressure, but it is just like when something's real, it just brings out a different beast from me, a
Even if
different
it's
animal.
subtle.
Say that
Does that
again?
make sense? Like, okay, maybe okay, this is so weird, but every time I've like, because I used to play a lot of sports when I was younger, right? And whenever I'd play basketball, which was my favorite sport to play, it was like the one that I like focused hardest on, and I was like, this is my jam, and I love this the most. Um, I would kind of always just like, sorry, I lost it again. Dang it! What were we talking about right before this?
We're talking about like pressure, being seen. Sometimes it like brings out the best version of
Yeah,
you.
so like whenever I'd like play basketball, like I feel like all of my best shots, even whenever I was playing baseball, whenever I was playing, like if I actually felt like there was pressure, you're not even gonna believe me, dude. This is crazy. But like if I actually felt pressure, I feel like I would just turn off and like force by some fluke, which is why I told you, I feel like I've just been lucky all my life and things have just been dropped in my lap. Like by some crazy fluke, I perform really well. Like
Hmm.
I have made like layup shots that have won us the game, and I feel like I didn't even look at the net. Like I wasn't looking at anything. Like, I was just like, ah, and it just happened. Like there have been. I promise you, my mom recorded this. I'm gonna see if she somehow has this recording. But I was on third base for softball, which is a serious position to be in, And this girl was about to like she hit the ball and she literally it was coming straight at me and I went like this and I caught it. I literally went after I went like this. I looked in my glove just to make sure the ball was actually there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And it was like the most epic thing ever, and everyone was going crazy. Like I remember after the game, this random girl I'd never even seen was telling her mom, she was like, "Did you see Natalya's catch?" And I was like, "Whoa!" Like that's actually crazy, but like I don't know. It just always felt like a fluke. That's like in an adrenaline
Luke, remind me what that means again.
like it just so happened that you
That just sounds
got
like such a
lucky.
perfect word.
Yeah, my mom says it a lot, but I've never heard anyone else say
A
it. I think
lucky
it's like a
accident.
Polish
Yeah.
word. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like a lucky accident. Yeah,
That's amazing.
exactly. So
I know it's
I'm
a
just like
name too, but yeah.
I didn't either. It's probably like the British influence
Yeah,
on
there's
our
actually a
culture.
soundtrack I listened to. I think it's called like Fluke's Death, but they call her Fluke. Yeah.
Oh, that
Interesting.
sounds Spanish. I don't know.
Say that again?
I said that sounds Spanish, but I don't know. Fluke.
Yeah, I think it was like old English, Anglo-Saxon type.
I don't know. Does your do your parents ever say like random like very English words that like an American would not say?
Um, my dad grew up here, so he's pretty good with his English. My mom is pretty good at English too, but I only talked to her in Urdu. And like
No,
when she,
like
when she,
does
yeah,
your mom like cuz I'm guessing she was like raised over there and she like
yeah.
yeah, so she does she ever say any like not Urdu words but like very British words like in English where you're just like I've never heard anyone say that.
Not really, but I know what you're trying to say because I've seen it in Pakistani dramas. They'd be saying something like, my foot,
My
like they,
foot.
yeah, like they'd be
Yeah,
like,
but
you
like
know what I'm talking
oh
about?
my foot. Like,
Yeah, like I can't think of an example where it's
and
like
I'm
I
like,
was there,
my
my foot.
butt.
I was there, my foot. Like it's like an
Oh,
insult or something.
oh, I don't think, okay, I don't think I've heard it like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, the
yeah,
way it's trying to say is like, like haha, yeah, right, something like that. But I think it's like a very British thing. And I remember telling like some friends, I'm like, they say that in Pakistani dramas, but it doesn't make sense. Like nobody talks like that. My
yeah.
foot.
Oh, like, well, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're gonna do that my foot like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
I've definitely heard
Like
that.
nobody
This is
says
like my
that.
foot.
Yeah,
I hear
nobody
you.
says it.
My mom says that kind of stuff a lot. Like a
Oh,
lot. She'll be like, instead of saying like turn on your blinker, she'll be like, put on your indicator.
oh,
Indicator. I'm like, or instead of pants, she says trousers. And like if I ever come downstairs like dressed up or something, she'll be like, "Wow, very smart." I'm like, "Smart?" Like,
oh
okay,
yes. Okay, I have heard that. I have heard
very
that.
smart. Oh, which I hate that one. I hate that one with all my heart. I'm like, ew. I
Why?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I don't like it.
Very smart.
And also, the way she says smart, like I don't like the way that she says it. Maybe it's just like a personal thing to my mom because I don't hear other people say that to me, just her. Um, Actually, a customer came in the other day. She was from the UK and she was like, "I want something for a wedding. I need it to be casual but very smart." And I was like, "My mom says that." Like,
Damn, that was really good. You sound like a natural.
oh wow. Thanks. One of my like really good friends growing up was from London, so I was channeling her on that one.
When I went to London, I was shocked. Our people have taken over that place. Like it
Yeah,
is
they have
Browntown. It is
it really
literally
is.
Browntown.
It's Hillcroft basically.
They say it's not Big Ben anymore, it's Massive Muhammad. And I was like, damn.
Oh no. That's crazy they say
That's how
that.
much they've taken over.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go get some more water. I will be
Go
right
do
back.
it. Go for it.
Yeah, be right back. Ah, all right, I'm back.
Okay, cool.
So I did want to ask you, did you ever
Yeah.
take psychology at Woods?
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't. Dude, you
No.
missed out. Dang. Woods had a really good psychology teacher. Like really, really good. His name was Jason Porter. One of
Okay.
his kids was, I think, my year, or well, technically my year, but I graduated before, so he would have been my year. But he was just awesome. Like I don't think he remembers me at all because I'm sure he gave like this. It was like a high school class, but he would lecture and we would just take notes. So it felt like like my first college class kind of. But he was so funny and like he just told like really good stories and the way he like explained things was very it just stuck with me a lot. I think it taught me a lot. And I was, me and my best friend Lydia both had class with him. It was different classes, but we both knew who he was and we both like had his lectures. And he just had such a big influence on us that we both wanted to get his name just randomly tattooed on us.
Whoa.
Just like Jason Porter across the knee or something like that. Like which would be so weird. Don't get me wrong, I know it's so weird, but just like that man said so much stuff that just made sense. Like I feel like even if you're not a psychology major, even if you don't care about psychology, just to understand life better, shout out to Jason Porter. Like he really just helps. Everything makes sense. Like when you're a kid, things make sense, but he was kind of like the Everly Brothers, where he just put everything into very simple terms. Like one of the things he would say was, you know, when you're a kid and you, I don't know if you've gone through this, but when you're a kid, you come home late, your mom gets mad at you. You know,
Yeah.
he would explain it like, "Mom, I didn't come home late thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my mom real mad this time." You know, like it would just be so much easier if people understood like the intent behind things and like obviously no one's just like, oh yeah, like I'm really excited about making you suffer and wait and wonder what's happening to me right now. You know, like obviously it's bigger than that and just like understand that kind of stuff. But I'm surprised you didn't have him. That would have been really cool if you did. I think I don't know. I just feel like everyone should have at one point in their life had Jason Porter teach the most psychology class. And his wife had like I think it was clinical depression or major depressive disorder. I don't know, one of them. But she would come in and give us guest talks and stuff. And it was cool. It was really cool. Like, he was talking about one time he and his wife was in the passenger seat and he had to brake really hard and they were about to get into a car accident and his wife accidentally called him by her ex-husband's name and he was like, I didn't get mad because we were in a stressful situation where she felt like uncomfortable and she felt like she wasn't safe and that's why she called me by his name, which is why she related me to him because she didn't feel safe and she didn't feel comfortable if she felt like, and I was like, wow, I've never thought of that. It's such a mature way of like thinking about that kind of stuff because any other guy would like hear his wife call her ex-husband's name and be like, what the heck was that? Like, what do you mean? But it was just like, I don't know, I just feel like he opened up a lot of like young minds to a way to see things in such a mature way that even people who are fully grown don't even like see it that way yet, which is really cool. So I
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that you had taken his class because yeah, no, he's awesome.
I love that story that you brought up actually. That is really cool.
Right?
I
No,
didn't
it
have
sticks
him,
with
but it
me.
is incredible how certain people coming into contact with them can just unlock something for you. My best teacher of all time, I even had her on my podcast, was my senior
No
year
way.
English teacher, Miss Snyder, Jessie Snyder. And
Wow.
I even told her, I was like, Miss Snyder, when I'd come into your class, I was looking at the world one way, and I would literally leave your class looking at the world a different way.
That's so
And some
special.
people just have that ability where they can just open doors in your mind, and it's
How would you
incredible.
feel if you had that ability, like if you had that influence on people? Would you like it?
I think I would, but it's like a Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. I think
You
about
know,
that and I'm like, I don't think I would want that responsibility. Like, I feel like that's too much. I think about my older sister so long ago, dude. I was probably 15, so like 12 years ago. She she's crazy. I don't even care if you see this podcast funny or crazy, but like she just like would have these different fads that she would get obsessed with, and one of them was this thing where it was like the Lord even knows what it was called. It was like something about being a master manipulator, businessman, make the world love you, manifest your I don't even know, that kind of thing. Okay, like I don't some random textbook or course from some rando that she fell for. And but one of the things she said to me or like that she made me watch was oh yeah, no, she was watching it and I had just in passing seen it where this guy was talking about like something that you say can be interpreted in such like a crazy different way based on the experiences that people have in their lives and that just made me like so scared to talk to people for so long. Like I was already an introvert before that and then even more after that I was like I don't want to have the power to say something to somebody that like for some reason in their life they relate it to something different and they just take it in a completely different way. Like I don't know, like that's just too much power for anyone to have, and the fact that we all have that scares me. It really does. I don't know if it's the fact that people should just grow a pair and get over it and not take everything so personally, but like that's too much to ask for the world for some reason. So like
and
somebody
you know what's
will.
interesting is, as you said, we all have it, but I've seen it in you naturally, especially when you talk to people and you're suggestive. And I see it, and it's like, whoa, like when she suggests, it's like literal magic. It has
Yeah.
an effect on a person.
I feel like, yeah, and I think that's why, because I never in a million years ever saw myself doing sales. That was just so out of my comfort zone and something I just had to do because it was COVID and I didn't really have a choice. But I just found like everyone just being like, you're so good at selling. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not trying. I don't want you to get this if you don't want it, but I
And I
kind of
low key
want it.
think that's the key.
May
Not
not
trying.
so though. I really don't
No.
So, like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
It's
in a way, don't you think that's what makes you good?
no, I think it because if you don't try like the way that I haven't been trying lately, it's not good. But if you don't try in the sense that everyone has their own like tactics from for selling, for example, like I get that. And Wilson, like I couldn't recognize my own. I just do what I do. But Wilson said to me that my tactic is that I just become their best friends. I don't care about these people. Okay. I don't want to be their best friends. I don't think I'm their best friends. I don't care to be their best friends. But apparently that's my tactic. And it's probably the fact that I act like I don't care. And like, but genuinely, I am looking out for your best interest. If somebody comes in today, like this guy came in earlier, right after Alan was like, I talked to Miss Francis and she wants your numbers up. And he was like, you need to sell. So sorry. And I was just like, okay. This guy comes in and he was just like, I have a wide foot and this isn't gonna work because it's not wide. And I was like, you don't have a wide foot. And he's like, I have a very wide foot. And I was like, okay. And he was like, so these aren't gonna work. And I was like, okay.
That's
like,
exactly what I mean, though, because I feel like
like
there's a key there. In my own past experiences, like the less I cared about if a person wanted something or didn't, I feel like that just kind of naturally makes you a little bit more powerful, and maybe they just end up getting the thing.
that's what I was talking about earlier with like it's so much at least to me for so long it's felt so rewarding be to accomplish something from not trying rather than like setting yourself up for trying to do something and then not doing good at it. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
What did you
exactly. Like
think of that quote I shared with you earlier, where Billy Corgan said about Kurt Cobain, like the greatest stunt he pulled was he fooled people into thinking like it just happened. He just did it like that. He was lazy.
the first thing I thought, honestly, when you told me that was that I was envious of him. I was like, that's like the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay so true to she doesn't try and things just fall in her lap and she's just so lucky that I genuinely am not faking it at all. Like I'm not trying to go out there and make connections behind anyone's back or gatekeep anything. Like I genuinely am waiting for everything to just work out. And I know that's not fair. Like I as much as I believe in God and God having a plan, I do believe like I need to do something to make that happen. I can't just sit around. But the fact that it's been working out so long has spoiled me a little bit. I will say that. Um,
If I could
I,
steal, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, on one hand, it makes me wonder, like, if I actually tried, what would happen? But then on the other hand, I feel like when I do actually try, I feel pressure and I'm bad under pressure and I just mess up. And that's like discouraging.
If I could steal one song, it would be Fell on Black Days by Soundgarden.
I
And there's a
haven't heard
lyric
that
in
one.
there that I'm curious to get your take on. Chris Cornell, he says, I'm a searchlight soul, they say, but I can't see it in the night. I'm only faking when I get it right. And what I get out of that is people come up to him, or they came up to him and they'd be like, you're like this guiding light in our lives, when we're navigating the dark storms of our own. And he says, well, I can't see it in the night. I can't see it in my own problems. I'm only faking it when I get it right. And so, so many of us have told you, like, you're really good at this and that and this and that. And you're like, really? Like, I don't see it that way. Do you ever feel that way? Like, maybe you're just faking it when you get it right.
Yeah, I do. Like I was telling you earlier, I just feel like fake it till you make it has worked for me for so many things. But it is hard for me to navigate or distinguish because like I said, like I've had some like mental issues where it's hard for me to see myself in that kind of light. So I don't know if it's more like me being hard on myself. Sorry, I lost track again. I just man.
You're good. You're good. No
Yeah,
worries.
can you say that
No worries.
again?
Well, it was just about faking it till you get it right. I always just thought it was interesting that he had that lyric. I'm only faking when I get it right.
Yeah, no, like I think it's pretty cool the fact that like I do feel like I have had to fake it to make it in like a way to get so far in life to at least the point where I feel confident in myself. And I think like at least as a girl or like growing up in that point where it was so important to me to like look cute and like act cute or not like act cute, but like yeah, just be like cute. It was like very like it was a big thing for me, and for people to already see that in me and for me to not see that, like it was for sure disheartening, but it also kind of just gave me strength in the fact that when I am thinking about, and you guys too, like whenever I am thinking like I'm just being a grouch and I'm like sitting around and waiting for this dumb job to be over so I can start the next one, is like that's not what people are seeing. So it is really reassuring. And I feel like that fake it till you make it does help. But that lyric did resonate with me a lot. And again, like I did think of the Goo Goo Dolls because I was like, is this just me again, like relating my own life to what Chris Cornell is saying? But no, you're right. Like I do feel that way. I do feel like people come up to me and they're like Wilson, he's been like, I really want to be more of a
He's
salesperson
like
like
your
you.
disciple.
I know. I'm like, dude, like, okay, Padawan, I guess I'll have you like here. like, but it's just cool that he's just been like, you're so like friendly and you're so like good at selling. Like he's like that
Yeah,
with
he
everyone.
adores you. Yeah,
He adores everyone. Like Wilson, he's awesome. Like I really genuinely think he's a great guy. He's a great friend.
he
He
is.
and he adores everyone for different reasons. Like he says the same thing about Gus. He says the same thing about you. He says the same about Richard, but for different reasons. Like he'll say Richard is good because he's just good at like being funny with people. He'll be like, Omer can like strike up a conversation about anything, anytime with anyone. Like the conversation will never go dull. And Gus is very much just like he's your I'm there for you guy. Like if you need something, I'm there for you. And you're just kind of like their best friend because he has that like perception of everyone. But like it's been very encouraging, just like me feeling like I'm being a straight up like awful person to someone, and then Wilson being like, "Wow, you and that guy really hit it off," and I'm like, "No," like, but it's reassuring that
And I
at
was gonna
least it
mention,
seems
it's
that
really
way.
convenient when they're strangers. It is so convenient.
It
And
is. It
I wrote a
is.
poem, and in the poem it was like, "You're right, Jim. People are strange when you're a stranger, but they're even stranger when you're familiar." Do you have experience like that? Where someone you know, they just kind of treat you a little bit more shoddy than a perfect stranger.
All that's playing in my head is people are estranged by the doors now, obviously. But you said, do I ever feel like people who are close to me feel more like strangers? Is that what you're saying? Sorry,
Yeah,
it's
like
literally.
sometimes like people who are close to you, they treat you in a way where you're like where you feel like a stranger with them. But sometimes you'll meet a perfect stranger, and because there are no preconceived notions, because there are no commitments, especially in sales, you can shoot the breeze with them for what, 20, 30 minutes, and that's it. Have a good day, sir. Have a good day, ma'am. Nice meeting you. I'll never
I
think
don't
about you
know.
again.
Because I think the fact that like, yeah, it is like empowering to know that I'm never gonna see this person again. I can say and do whatever I want and I don't care because I'm never gonna see these people again. But it's more so like that whenever I'm in public and I just randomly want to do a little dance. I'm like, whatever, I'm never gonna see these people again. But at work, I feel like if I'm never gonna see these people again and they're never gonna pay an impact on my life, like I I find it even less motivating to talk to them. I'm like, I'm never gonna see you again. Just go away. like, I know that's so weird for you to hear from like someone who's your manager, but like genuinely, people walk in and I'm just like, I'm literally never gonna see
Yeah.
you again. So just go.
You are such a chill manager. I think I
I
even told
appreciate
you was
that.
like it never crossed my mind like, oh wait, she's my manager. It just never crossed my mind because of how chill you are.
Yeah. No, I mean maybe it would have like back in the day. I was gonna say like whenever because
It's
you
not a
joined
bad
at
thing, by the way.
No, I know. But like when you joined, I was definitely at a point where I was already given up on the store, you know? But I do feel like even if you had joined before, you would still think I was a really chill manager, which is cool because I'm like, I don't think it's just because of the fact that I've given up on this job that people think I'm chill and like I'm like good at management. My whole thing was if you know what you're doing, like y'all are fully grown adult males, you know, like it I don't have to baby you and tell you what to do. y'all are doing what you need to do, and that's the end of the story. If y'all are sitting around and like just being on your phone and like acting stupid, yeah, I'll be like, okay, you go do that, you go do that. Like you probably would have still thought I was chill, but you would probably felt more like I was your manager if you would have joined earlier. But like that's my whole thing. It's not serious. Like Richard was even saying like you're like very chill, and I was like, if this was like a if we were at a law firm right now and the stakes of people's lives were counting on the work that we did, it's not gonna be like this. But it's just
Yeah.
shoes. Like, and I
Yes.
understand that. Like, it's literally just shoes. So, it's not
It's
that
not, yeah.
serious.
It's not that deep. I feel you. I absolutely
Yeah.
feel you.
I take things for what they are. Like at this new job that I have, I'm already like bossing around men who are two times my age. Like, and it's not a problem. I'm like, this needs to get done, so stop messing around and do it. Like, and if they do what they need to do, then my job is done. I can just focus on like making sure everything follows through smoothly. But if you guys are gonna like do what you need to do, I don't need to micromanage. I don't need to sit on top of you and be like, oh, why isn't this getting done? Like it's getting done, And if you want to talk a little bit along the way, cool. It's just shoes. Like that's my
Yeah.
whole thing. I'm sure I would be super different in like a work environment where it actually mattered. I hate to say that, but it doesn't
No, I mean
matter.
it's true. Like
Yeah.
circumstances, situations, like time, place. As cliche as it is, that it makes a difference. My
Yeah.
favorite story that you shared with me today, I don't know if you want to share it, but it was the one about like what your friends told you
About what?
in in college, and like it goes back to that lyric, the Chris Cornell lyric. You mentioned it where
Mhm.
you were like, I didn't know that. I didn't see myself that way. But then they told me, and it's like, oh, what?
Can you elaborate? I don't really remember the conversation. We talked like a lot today,
We talked a
actually.
lot. We did. I'm
Yeah.
being so vague. The
No,
part
you're
where you said
good.
like your friends told you like you're so pretty, but you just didn't see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah,
If you
like
don't mind
that's
sharing, you don't
no,
have
it's
to.
cool. I just genuinely like I have like certain I don't like take it too hard on myself or like feel like, oh, like this pretty girl can't see how pretty she is. Like, I don't think about any of like that dramatic stuff. It's more so like I think everybody has their own preferences and they have their own tastes. And I think like maybe I'm just not my own taste. I think maybe that's just like what it had been. And like maybe like I don't know, I just didn't think like when I went out with these two girls, Lydia and Brooke, shout out. I love them with all my heart. They're super cool. They're literally the best girls ever. Like I still keep up with them to this day. They're still I know I could trust them with my lives. Like it's no question about it. Um but yeah, every time I went out with them, I didn't think like anybody like we would go out all the time and like we would meet up with guys and we would like meet up with like new people and stuff. And I just didn't think not only that guys weren't interested in me, like it wasn't just like that. I was just like, they're so much prettier and they're so much more interesting and they're so much more like I don't know. I just kind of always felt that way. So it was like even a rude awakening for me when like Lydia had told me she literally I'll never forget this. We were getting ready for something. I think it was like homecoming, like or something like college homecoming or something like that. And she like said I looked really pretty and I was like, really? And she was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, whatever. And then we like got into but then she like revisited and she's like, what do you mean really? Like and we kind of got into depth about it. And she was like, Brooke, come here. Like she just said that she thinks that she's the ugly friend. And I'm like, like I don't know. Like it was a good moment because no one's gonna feel bad at thinking their whole lives that they were ugly and then like hearing like two of their best friends be like, "What are you talking about?" Like so it was a good moment, and it was a moment where I was like, "Okay, like these are two girls that like I trust with all my life, and they wouldn't just be saying this and emphasizing it so much unless it was true." I really just thought people were telling me I was pretty because that was just the norm and like that was just what people said to each other. Um, but like after they told me that, I was kind of just like, I need to have a different mindset about it. Even if I don't believe that I'm pretty, like other people see it, so I should just say it. Like that was another thing. Like Brooke and Lydia would always be like, "Oh yeah, I'm hot," and I never used to say stuff like that, but they would say it, and I would just be like, "Yeah, y'all are hot." Like I'm like, maybe there's something about just like them saying it and me believing it, like seeing it and just being like, they're saying it, so it must be true, or like something like that. Like I feel like there is truth to it. Like I don't know. This might be crazy, but I feel like someone who is like a seven, like keeps talking about how hot they are. People might just like want to see reasons for why they think that and like, agree with them. I've seen it happen so many times where like girls who are like not that pretty have just been like, oh yeah, I'm so hot, I'm so hot, I'm so hot. And then everyone's just been like agreeing with it. And I'm like, okay, so maybe like
Abracadabra.
exactly, like speaking stuff into existence. I'm just like, yeah, maybe I should do that. And like I feel like it did work. Like even if sometimes like on my worst days I'm just like, nah. I'm on other days I'm just like, yeah, like why not? Like and it's cool. Like it's a cool feeling to like overcome that. I feel like it's something that is not easy to overcome. And like speaking from not just speaking from experience, but I feel like I was really lucky to have um figured out a way to like try to like compensate for that or like mute those voices in my head that were kind of just like no, and then like speaking that into existence and people like agreeing with me and that becoming my whole like new sort of lifestyle. Like I don't know, like I'll just to toot my own horn, I'll be like, oh yeah, like I'm hot. Why wouldn't anyone think that? And like no one disagreeing, like even something like so shallow as that, like tooting my horn, I'm like, let it, like I need that. If like this is really the reality and like I'm not seeing that, there's something wrong and like I should see that. It's unfair for me to like not see that. So yeah, I feel like fake it till you make it works a lot. Like
Yeah, I really
for
like
me.
that story when you shared it because it was just really eye-opening. It surprised me.
Really,
It's a
there's
good
like
one.
there are big like moments in life like that where I feel like defining moments where I'm just like that was a moment where I was like I need to really turn things around, and like I actually did because everyone I feel like every day I'm like oh I should change this, I should make this better, I should make that better, but we're like actually doing it and following through and like that being the day forth, like you decide that this is how you're gonna like go on. And like the fact that I still do that, like still like have that mentality, and I'm just like, yeah, just keep like complimenting yourself. Why not? Like it was so funny. I remember because like now Wilson, he'll be like, "Oh, you're just so obsessed with yourself. You like love yourself." I'm like, okay, so maybe I should tone it down a little bit. And I remember whenever I first like one of the first conversations we had, um, me and Wilson were in the back and we were just talking about my mom and I said something about she was Irani and you would come back there and you're like, I knew you were Irani. You look Irani. And I was just like, oh, okay. And what I really what I really wanted to say was thank you so much. Like, I know. But then I knew Wilson was gonna be like, oh yeah, here goes Nat again. Being like, I'm so hot. So I was like, let me just try to play it cool. So you were like, oh yeah, you look Persian. And I was just like, yeah. And I like felt myself being awkward because I didn't know like what else to say because I usually would have just like popped off. And then you were like, you saw me be awkward and you were like, it's not a bad thing. And I was like, I know. And I was like, dang
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I
There
remember
goes
that.
the
I
conceit.
remember that
Like,
day.
and
Yeah.
Wilson was like, oh, here it goes. Like, of course, I know I'm beautiful. I was like, come on, Wilson. But yeah,
Yeah, I
no, that
remember
was
that
really
day.
funny.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe that was just like what, a couple months ago. Damn.
I know, that's crazy. My
Yeah.
phone's about to die, so I'm gonna move you again.
Yeah, you're good, you're good. So I guess let me ask you, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you felt like you wanted to say, we didn't get a chance to, or something you wanted to express?
I don't know. I don't think so right now. I just kind of like, I feel like every time we talk, it's just like a flowing conversation and it just goes one way to
It
another.
quite literally, yeah. And like,
Yeah.
come to think of it, like this was actually a 6 hour podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
we talked a lot today.
I
And
know, dude. That was crazy.
wow, well, I guess if there was one song you could steal and be like, you know what, this is mine, my creation, which
You
one
know
would it
what,
be?
Amir, that's a really good closing question. And you're a really good podcast host. Like just closing thoughts to put that out there. Like
Thank you.
even when I first met you, I think it was Enrique who told me that you had your own podcast, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes so much sense." And not because like of anything other than the fact that I was like, "You would be such a good podcast host." So yeah, that was a
Oh,
good.
thank you.
That was like impressively good. You just like came up with that on the spot, and I feel like every time like I have this thing where like every time a conversation feels like it's drifting off, I go into this like headspace where I'm like, okay, what am I going to say next? Because I feel this conversation like wavering, but you already like have that covered all the time. Like even Richard said, like even if it's the most random like question and like someone might find it offensive sometimes, like at least it like keeps the conversation going, which is really cool. Like I've never
Yeah,
like felt that lull of like awkwardness for more than like 20 seconds before you already come up with like a new question, which is really cool.
thank God.
Um what song could I steal, dude? There's so many good songs out there. You know what? Actually, the song that I would steal that I wish I could take credit for and be like, this is my song and nobody else can have it. But I would only take credit for it if nobody else can have it. Like I don't want anyone else to like have this song if it's my song. Would be Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Like it's just since I was a kid and since before I even like thought I even knew what it meant, I knew what it meant, which is so cool. And it just feels so personal. Like there's so many songs by Pink Floyd, which I don't think that we've talked about Pink Floyd much, but we talked about Sid Barrett like a little vaguely
That's
today.
where the name comes from. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Okay.
He so the story was he dropped a lot of acid, like way too much, to the point where like he was the second in line with David Gilmour. Like there was no I'm pretty sure it was like yeah, wait, no, am I wrong? Was it I don't know, man. It might either have been like David Gilmour or Roger Waters. Like one of them was not there. Like the iconic duo was not there. It was Sid Barrett. And he was like their main guitarist and he just did way too much acid to the point where they were about to start a concert one day. And he was just like facing the speaker, which like already crazy feedback. You know, it was just like a bunch of feedback, and he was in a trance, and he just kept playing the same note over and over and over again, and it wasn't even like good. It was like dang dang dang, like and he just like couldn't stop. Like he was literally in a trance, and no one could break him out of it. And they had to like get him off the stage, and that was the last time he performed with Pink Floyd. And because yeah, like obviously.
Wow.
So yeah, he had gone crazy pretty much. And that Roger used to listen to him a lot, like what I was telling you, and I couldn't get into it because it was just like a very niche kind of. You might actually get into it. I could see you getting into it. It's more like I don't know, like I actually don't even know how to describe it. You'll see. It's still got all the like psychedelic effects that Pink Floyd had, like psychedelic rock, but it's a lot more just. It feels it feels like this is gonna sound so weird. It feels like an empty white room, and then this one guy is standing in a corner with a guitar, and he's like, instead of having like actual skin color, he's gray, and he has like long black hair. Not long, but like, you
I
know,
like that image.
that's literally what it feels like. It's just it's so weird to describe. That's the whole thing I felt like the whole
Yeah.
time, and that's what I
Orochimaru
imagine he
with the
was.
guitar.
Wait, what?
You know, like Naruto, Orochimaru, like the snake guy with the
Sorry.
gray skin. No, okay, never mind. Pale skin.
Yeah.
No worries.
Naruto, no, not really, no.
No
I
worries.
barely know what he looks like, so
No worries. No
yeah.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out then. Comfortably numb. And you're really big on
You
like the
never heard
lyrics.
Comfortably Numb?
No. My friend, he really wanted me to hear The Wall, so I heard The Wall.
You need to listen to The Dark Side of the Moon. It's
Okay.
gonna change your life. Like,
Oh, that was one question I would ask you. Like, is there one song where you specifically remember like listening to it and like changed? For me, I remember the first time I watched Prince's Purple Rain, I was just
that's a good one.
entranced. I was like, whoa, crazy how he did that.
I'm not much of a music video person. If there's one song that you ask me, like, well, one band that you asked me, what has played the most influence on your life? It's gonna be the Beatles. and it's gonna be because of
Let
my
it be.
dad. Um, Let It Be. Yeah,
Good
like
song.
there's so many like Let It Be is such a beautiful song. Like it's so simple, but it's so beautiful. Like when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Those are the words
Yeah.
of wisdom. Really
You know
like
what's crazy? I went to go get an oil change, right? And the guy there, I was just shooting the breeze with them, and I said, "Hey, do you like the Beatles were playing?" And I said, what song do you recommend I listen to from them?" And he said, "Let It Be. That's my favorite." So I heard that song in my car, and I drove to Barnes and Noble. And at the time, I was reading this book by Rick Rubin called The Creative Act. And the chapter that I opened it up on was Let It Be.
that's crazy.
Crazy coincidence. Crazy,
That's crazy.
crazy coincidence.
Have you heard the song Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney?
No, gotta check
Okay.
it out. There's so many. There's so many songs.
Yeah, no, I mean Wings was a really great band. I don't know if you listened to them at all, but they were
No.
really good. That was like Paul McCartney's band after he left the Beatles. And
Interesting.
oh, another thing I like kind of side note wanted to mention was like I did not know that Iris was written for a movie, a song that iconic and that good with that much magnitude. The fact that it's written for a movie, like that's the kind of stuff that like I'm like, no. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not right. That should have been your single and it shouldn't have been for any movie. Why is it that a movie director came up to you and said, like, or whoever came up to you and said, like, you're really good and we want you to like make a song for this movie and then you literally put out your best stuff out for a movie? Okay, I'm not trying to at Phil Collins or anything like that. But he did not have to go that hard for Tarzan. I'm glad he did. I'm so glad he did. But whoa, like
Yeah.
out of everything he's released, I think that might still be his best stuff. You'll Be in My Heart. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know he
Absolutely.
was thinking singing about another day in paradise, and that's like it hits the heart and like whatever, but like strangers like me.
Yeah.
Those were just he did not have to do all of that, and he did, which
And
Phil Collins, I
something
feel like.
something I emphasize a lot is the power of lyrics and how if like that poetry is solid, it's insane how many different versions you can have. So going back to Iris, I love Avril Lavigne's cover. It's just so beautiful
That's so funny
because
that
the
you say
poetry
that
is
because
solid.
I was a really big Avril Lavigne fan, and then my dad, being my dad, came up to me one day. He's like, "Oh yeah, you love Avril Lavigne? Yeah, well, listen to her sing live." And he played it, and it was terrible. And I was like,
Whoa.
"Why would you do this to me, Dad? Like that's awful, right? Why would you do that?" But she did a cover of Guns N' Roses, and I
Oh,
just thought, like, you know what song it is? Knocking on Heaven's
Patience?
Door.
Oh
No.
my. Oh, okay. Whoa.
And like honestly, you're wrong. Like, cause for me, Axl Rose's version and Bob Dylan's version, I can't choose because I'm like, they're both so good for different reasons and they're both completely different vibes. And like they could be the same lyrics, but they're different songs. Like they are. But like I don't know, Avril kind of killed it.
I gotta
Which
check
is
that
so
out.
crazy to say. Yeah, she did good. She has such like a sultry, like grunge-ish kind of voice too. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like Lana if Lana was punk rock.
Yeah, it's actually Avril Lavigne and the Goo Goo Dolls. When I listen to that music, I think of the America that I grew up in. Like that was the
Oh,
culture. That's
that's
the
actually
sound of
cool.
that culture, you know what I mean?
I feel that way about Avril all the
Americana.
way,
Yeah.
all the way.
You
Yeah.
know, but you mentioned Lana. Lana Del Rey, she was the first okay, I wasn't really a big music guy, but she was the first person, I'm pretty sure, where I detected in a song, I'm like, hold on, this is a poet speaking. And that is
Really?
what captured my attention. I was like, damn, the
Wow.
lyrics are so powerful.
Do you have any kind of like special connection to her as an artist because of that?
I would say so. I mean,
Wow.
because I
Because
mean,
that's
she's a
why I feel
poet. To
like,
me, she strikes me as a poet more. And Jim
yeah.
Morrison too. It's like I see the writer in him more than I do the musician.
I
Singer.
genuinely like that's why I like Dylan is because the first time I saw someone as a poet rather than a musician was with Dylan and I was like, wow, this is why people like him. It's not because for the longest time I remember wanting everyone talking about Bob Dylan, and I was like, wow, I'm so excited to explore this guy. And I listened to a song by him, and I was like, this sucks. He's so bad. Like, honestly, why would he ever be famous? He has a really bad singing voice, and like he can't sing. And then like literally not even 2 days later, I heard Joker Man, and I was just like completely won over by this man.
It
I was
was
like,
wonderful, by the way. I listened to that one as well, driving home.
right, right. I
Yeah.
want you to, but you should listen to it and like, cause he mumbles a lot, but look at the lyrics. Like, they're so beautiful. Like, he's literally a poet. Like, that's why I like him. He's a okay guitarist. The only cool thing about him playing guitar is the fact that he can play the harmonica and smoke a cigarette at the same time. That's the only like impressive thing about his guitar skills. He's not a good singer, but his lyrics are like genuinely out of this world. Like, I think he was probably like a really like an F boy, like an F boy of like the 60s or 70s. Like, that was probably Dylan, but like his lyrics were just like what I liked about him. He just was so like it was like naked lyrics. It's so folk because the thing I like about folk music is that it's raw. It's just like there's no like embellishments on it. There's no decoratives and like nothing to like make it fancy or drive it up. It's just what it is. And like that's what he puts down. And that's why his voice works with it. It doesn't matter that his voice sucks and that he sucks at singing. It's the fact that he is singing folk music, so all that matters is the message and the rawness behind it, which he delivers every single time, without a doubt. So
Yeah. The words. It's crazy the effect they can have. And I notice it time and time again. Patience by Guns N' Roses. Chris Cornell has a cover, and it's beautiful, but it's like a different song. Or even if you hear like what's that one I was just thinking about? Everlong? No, no, is it Everlong by the
by
Foo
the Foo
Fighters?
Fighters, yeah,
Yeah, like the official recording versus just
dude, yeah,
versus him Dave Grohl playing it live. It's huge difference. It's incredible.
it
So
really
if the
is.
poetry is solid, I think the song is solid forever.
That's cool that you think that, because that's one thing that when you ask me like if I have ever recorded my own songs, I have been scared that like my lyrics are just gonna be like way too hard for like the music, like not hard, like difficult, but like way too hard, like and like I don't know, because the first thing I told you was that I'm confident that I could just sit down and write a song in like 5 minutes, and it's gonna sound catchy, and it's gonna sound good, and it's gonna be like it's gonna have a good melody to it.
It's
But
the
my thing
easiest
is,
writing.
it's yeah, the thing is that like I just feel like my writing's too powerful for like what the music is. Like what I'm saying is I could be like a ghostwriter easily. Like I could just like write hits and be like, you sing this and you sing that and you sing that and here's your hits. Like, but like not with those lyrics. Like I don't know. Like it's weird and it's dark and it's like I don't know, personal, and I don't think it makes sense. It feels like just literature whenever that's another thing I'm insecure about is like what if like I feel like my lyrics are too good for my music, and then whenever people hear my lyrics they don't know what the heck I'm even talking about, which they won't because I'm very like symbolic in a lot of things and I just like say stuff and like the way that Roderick texts is kind of like how I talk. It's just like it doesn't have to be, or like how I like write poetry, not necessarily in the fact that it's not just like a bunch of big words strung together to like sound smart, but it's just like it's like whoa, like where well, how did you string that from that, like
Yeah.
it's just kind of connections in
But
my
I
mind that I see that I don't know if anyone else could see.
but I like how you said that because there's this really beautiful scene in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie
I
where the
love that movie.
producer he goes like bloody bismillah, what is that? And then Rami Malek playing Freddie Mercury, he's like true poetry is for the listener. And I love that. It's so
That's
true.
so cool.
It's so
That's so
true.
cool. That movie, I'm glad you said something about it because I thought it was like at the time, at least for like the 3 years that it was released within, I thought that it was probably one of the best movies that came out within that time. Then again, I'm not a movie connoisseur. I didn't see all the movies that came out, but the best movie that I'd watched, and I thought that it was just like so cool. And I am a really big fan of biopics. I don't think every one of them is great. Like the Elton John one, I walked out of the theater. I've never walked out of a theater before. I'll watch anything, but that was hard to watch. Like it was really bad. Bohemian Rhapsody was really, really good. And like I
Yeah,
didn't hear many people talk about it, which was weird. I was
really.
like, it was such a good movie to me. Like I just thought it was awesome.
I felt like
Like
it got its dues, and yeah, like Freddie
it's funny that
Mercury.
you say God is dues and because of the Queen song. Or the
Yeah,
champions.
your dad was at Live Aid. That's
That's
wild.
what I'm saying. How could he be at Live Aid? And the fact that he was just like, oh yeah, I was at like Woodstock. What's he? No, he wasn't at Woodstock. He's at Live Aid, yeah. Because Woodstock, he was 68, right? Or like 60 something. Yeah, he would have
60
been too young.
something.
Yeah, he would have been too young. But he was definitely at Live Aid. Like, I was like, imagine the fact that like I've been obsessed with these bands since I was growing up. Since I was 4 years old, I've been an Eagles fan. What 4-year-old is an Eagles fan? And my dad waited till I was like till the Bohemian Rhapsody movie came out to be like, oh yeah, I was at Live Aid. I was like, you were at what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. Because I remember when the Bohemian Rhapsody movie came out, like the Live Aid, they listed the Live Aid lineup. And I was like, I watched it with my best friend Sam, and I whispered to him, I was like, I would kill three of my best friends to attend that concert. And he was like, I'm one of those three. And I was like, yeah. And I meant it. Like, Dylan was there, Janis Joplin was there, Freddie Mercury was there. Like, why?
They were
Who wouldn't I
missing
kill?
Cat Stevens. They needed him there. Phil Collins was there.
Love Cat Stevens. I'm so glad you said that. And this
He's
is
a
like,
brilliant writer, eh?
dude, have you heard Cats in the Cradle
No,
by
actually.
Ugly Kid Joe? He does an outstanding cover of that. It's my favorite. Like that song is beautiful in itself. It was one of the first songs that I learned how to play on the guitar. And like, well, not one of the first songs, but one of the first riffs. Like, like ding, boop, 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 boop. Like I could play like chords and stuff, but like an actual riff where you play like a small little solo, like that was the first song that I learned on the guitar because my dad and I used to sing it and play it when I was a kid. And like my best friend when I was growing up till I was like 4 or 5, her name was Summer, and she loved that song too. And we were just like put on some like random karaoke app, and we would sing Cats in the Cradle. And I remember, man, this is a sad note. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make it sad. But the song is basically about like the first verse he's talking about my child was born. And I was so excited and he asked me like when can we hang out? And I said like I'm working, so I can't. And then the second verse, his son turns 10. He's like, thanks for like buying me this ball, like let's play. And his dad's like, oh, I can't, like I'm busy. We'll catch up later. And like the whole time his son's like, I'm gonna be just like him. Like, I'm gonna be just like him. And then like by the time he gets to college, his dad's like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Like, this is amazing. Let's hang out. And he's like, oh, I'm busy. Like, I can't. Like, can I have your car keys? Like, I gotta go hang out with my friends. And then like his dad calls him and he's sick and he's like, oh well, now I'm married and my kids are sick and like I gotta take care of them. So like I can't, like first the dad's too busy for the son and the son's too busy for the dad. And like I always saw that being like my life with my dad. I was like, one day, like, because I was so young at the time, I was still in like the second verse of the song where I was just like, one day you're gonna ask me to hang out and I'm gonna be in college and I'm gonna be like, no thanks, dad. Let's give me the car keys. Like, let me go hang out with my friends. And I was like excited for that day to come. And now I'm just like, man, like that really happened. Like I've always like even before my dad got sick, even before anything, like since I was a kid, I was like, when my dad dies, I'm gonna play the song at his funeral. Like I know it's such a weird thing to say, but like I've had my dad's like funeral playlist set up for such a long time. And like Old Man by Neil Young is on there. I don't know if you've heard that one. It's a banger. But yeah, no, like there's just like that's such a weird thing to say. Is like I have my dad's funeral playlist already set up, but knowing my dad, that's like the thing that's gonna matter the most to him is that he has a banging playlist for his funeral.
Is Hurt by Johnny Cash on there?
It's not, but I love Johnny Cash. I
That's a great
think
example of another cover, and a cover that takes on its own life because
have
the
you seen
poetry
Walk the
is so
Line?
solid.
I agree. It's yeah, dude. Like that's another one of those songs where like I had to stop and be like, he just said that. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I love songs like that. That make me just like stop and consider like that's what they just said. That's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
the Everly Brothers, Skeeter Davis, like
Yeah, I love Dream. That is just such a great song.
you still need to listen to End of the World by Skeeter Davis, right?
I guess.
You
Yeah.
do. You do.
But I wanted to mention with Cat Stevens, there's this one lyric that 10 years ago I didn't really understand it, but now I kind of hear him more. And he says in that song Father and Son,
Oh, I love that song.
you will still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, it's true.
Is that your favorite Cat Stevens song?
I think so. I think so. And then I also like Morning is Broken or Oh Very Young.
I
All of
don't
his
think I've heard
poetry
that
is
one.
just really beautiful.
You should send me that one because I actually don't think I've heard that one. And
Which
then
one?
the one you just said.
Oh Very Young?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I haven't heard that one. But he's awesome. Like Wild World has been my favorite song since like
Yeah.
as long as I can remember. Have you heard Bitter Blue by him?
No, but First Cut is the Deepest. That's a Cat Stevens song
No
that
way.
people have popularized because
As
they
Cheryl
covered it.
Crow.
Yeah, but it's actually a
Yeah.
Cat Stevens song. He wrote that.
That's crazy. I did not know that. And I would have thought that I would know that because my dad loves Cat Stevens and he's the one who showed me Cheryl Crow's version of First Cut is the Deepest. But dang, the more you know.
Yeah.
Do you know who Suzanne Vega is?
No,
Okay. You know the song Tom's Diner?
I don't. You're like an encyclopedia for all these things.
I know, I know. I take pride in it. I won't even cap and say that I don't. I really love music. It's cool knowing these things. But there's this one song that Maroon 5, like I'm just trying to help you find the song that I'm or the artist that I'm talking about. But you know that song by Maroon 5 that they released like recently after Songs About Jane, which was like their last good album. Um it was like I don't it was it Animals? I think it was Animals where the beginning is like da, 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 da. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a song called Tom's Diner by Suzanne Vega, who
Oh,
has like the most popular version of or she covered First Cut is the Deepest, and I thought that was the most popular cover, but I guess the most popular cover is Sheryl Crow because Cat Stevens wrote it. That's
yeah,
crazy.
right? But
Wow.
again, and these are all examples of like if the poetry is solid, the song will definitely have its own life.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, wow. That's crazy. I really like lyrics more than anything because I don't pay attention to lyrics when I listen to music. Like the first thing for me is the music, and then later will come the lyrics. Like you know that song Give Me Three Steps by Leonard Skinner?
No.
Okay, I'll send you that too. But it's a really good song. It's like a little fun rock and roll song. And I've sang it all my life since I was like 5 years old. And then like this like one of my friends, Jake, he was like, do you even know what that song's about? And I was like, no, I actually don't. What's it about? It was like he's saying give me three steps. Like what he basically sings is like give me three steps towards your door. And I was just like, yeah. Like, but apparently this guy was like cheating on this guy, like this girl was cheating on her husband with this guy, and the guy found out, and the basically the guy who she was cheating with was like asking for a head start. He was like, can you just give me three steps towards your door and then come running after me? Like I was like, wow, I would have never thought about that. So lyrics are
Yeah,
not
isn't
really
it
like, yeah, it's
isn't it
crazy.
so
Like
fascinating like all the different reasons songs get written? Like who was the muse that inspired Dream by the Everly Brothers? Like you
that's
would
what I'm
never know that
saying.
story. Like
I
who is that?
know.
It's just like
That's
the song exists, but you don't know the story behind it
I
sometimes.
know, dude. Like that's why the song Sarah by Bob Dylan I always thought was like a really cool song and I was like, who is Sarah? Like, I was jealous of her even though like Bob's like a 70 something years old. I was like, who is this girl? Like why do you love her so much? Just tell me right now. And after watching the biopic with Timothy Chalamet, I was kind of just like Okay. Like I get it now. And it's just cool to make sense of it and like see where they're coming from. Unfortunately, not a lot of songs are written that are called Natalia. But I just like that's so cool for some chick out there named Sarah who just gets to listen to that and her name's in it. Like
Yeah,
I
like
think
Hey
about that.
Jude, it's like who's
Jude
Jude?
is
Who's
so
lucky?
lucky.
Yeah.
Jude is so lucky.
My
Even Judy can
favorite
get away
is
with it.
Josephine by Chris Cornell. It's like, wow, I can't believe he did that. But he inspired it based on like Josephine from the Napoleon era.
I didn't know that.
Josephine.
That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
it's just it's cool. All the different reasons that somebody writes a song or anything. Like William Shakespeare, he's got this bit of poetry where he says something like, um, it sounds really cool when he wrote it, but he's like, I'd kiss you to go to hell just so I could brag to the devils that I was near heaven or something like that. And it's like, whoa, William Shakespeare wrote that, but for who? Just insane.
Yeah, no, to think that's what I'm saying. Like when people like write stuff, I'm like, and you think like, who hurt you? I'm genuinely like, no, who hurt you? Like I want to know. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. That's why like the Bohemian Rhapsody thing hit so hard too. I was like, he wrote Love of My Life about a girl, and like he was gay. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me. Like you would have never thought in a million years with a
It's such
million
an
dollars.
amazing song. Like I find myself singing that like every once in a while just
Yeah,
driving, and
it moves you.
it's a classic.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah. But it was wonderful talking, you know?
Yeah, no, you too. I know our closing thoughts went like 40 minutes over, but
Oh, it's fine. Yeah,
yeah,
no
no,
worries. No
that was
worries.
cool.
Yeah. Well, I suppose until next time, man. You take care.
Sir, you too.
Thanks. So that was it. What do you think?
Okay. Cool. No, I loved it. That was really good. And like I said, like you're very good at keeping the conversation going on naturally for like a very long time, which is really cool. Um, yeah, dude, that's a talent because I find myself honestly struggling to keep a conversation going. And then I find myself just being like naturally bliss in silence. And for someone who does feel that way, like I am very like bliss in silence, I feel very comfortable talking to you like constantly, even for hours, which is really cool. Like I genuinely feel like your whole channel just takes off and like pops off because you're a really good interviewer.
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
I
And
mean
I
that.
myself, I was like, damn, I think like nearly 7 hours now. It's like how long we were talking actually.
Dang,
Insane.
that's
Insane.
wild. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. And thank you
Yeah.
for being on. I
No,
appreciate it. I
I
appreciate your
appreciate
time.
you.
Good
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
you too. Okay,
But
well
I
take
guess you
care.
take care. I'll see you one of these days, eh?
Yeah, when do you work next?
I think Friday evening. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm off Friday, but I'm gonna try to come in because I did call
Wait,
off
so
on
is
Monday.
is Saturday your actual last day?
Probably because Sunday's technically supposed to be my last day, but if something comes up with my new job, I'm gonna have to call out. So,
Wow. So I
yeah.
think Saturday will probably be the last time I see you there.
We'll do something.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, how was the Cheesecake Factory when you went with Wilson? I think to myself like, man,
It
I should
was
have gone that
cool.
day.
I thought about that and I was like, wow, I really like it blows my mind too. I'm like, Omer wasn't there. That was weird because I like in my head remembering looking back at it, I feel like you were. It was chill. It was more like I think you would have probably gotten a kick out of interviewing my friend and Wilson ended up doing that. Like he was asking him a bunch of like random questions. And Christian is just that's my friend Christian. He's a very interesting person. Like, remember how I said earlier that I wouldn't talk to Alan because I feel like he's soulless? Christian is also soulless, but in the best way. Like, he just like has these random things to chime in, and he has like the worst opinions about things, and he's a very interesting guy. I think you should interview him. I'm gonna set this up for you, and you're actually gonna thank me because he just like I'll be sitting with him one day and I'll talk about like, oh yeah, my dad was talking about like the Eye of Ra, and he'll be like, oh yeah, Jesus hated the Egyptians, and I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, Jesus hated the Egyptians, and I'm like, Why do you think that? And he's like, I don't know. He's so dyslexic. He can't spell his own name. He can't spell my name. I'm his best friend and I'm saved in his phone as ASAP Rocky because he doesn't know how to spell my name.
Wow. You set it up, we'll make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. Actually, I think this could be great for you.
And actually, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I think this is a cool fun fact. Do you know how the Persians conquered Egypt?
No, I actually don't.
They caught wind that the Egyptians worshipped cats. So their entire army literally brought cats with them. And the Egyptians
Like
did not
Persian
attack
cats?
them. Yeah, they brought cats, and the Egyptians did not attack them.
Have
And
you
that
heard
is how
about
the
Persian
Persians.
cats? Like Persian cats are like the stuff. Like they're like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But that's how they won Egypt. That's how they took over.
Wow.
Cats.
Wow.
Wild, wild story.
I hope I think about that like my Roman Empire. Like I think I want that to be my Roman Empire.
Yeah,
So fingers crossed that it is.
cool. Well, you have a good night, Natalia. You
You
take
too.
care.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah,
I'll
stay safe.
see you. See you soon.
Yep, take care.
Good night.
Night.